them were slaughtered for fertilizer or pet food. By 1950, less than 17,000 survived. After a congressional act prohibited the capture or slaughter of wild horses in 1971, the wild horse population again grew quickly. Many died of thirst and starvation in the harsh western winters. In an attempt to manage the size of the herds, the United States government gathered up the animals and maintained them in fenced feedlots until they could be adopted. One day in the early 1980s, Dayton Hyde, who by this time owned his uncle's ranch and had a grown family of his own, drove by one of these feedlots. Shocked and dismayed by the sight of dozens of muddy and dejected horses locked in a corral, he felt he had to do something. After months of searching and many long days spent convincing government officials to accept his plan of creating a special place for wild horses, he acquired 11,000 acres of rangeland and rimrock near the Black Hills in South Dakota. Here, among yawning canyons and sun-drenched pastures, he hoped wild horses, some too ugly, old, or knobby-kneed to be adopted, could run free forever. Before he could ship his wild horse rejects to their new home, Dayton had to build 8 miles of fences to ensure they wouldn't wander into his neighbor's wheat fields. He also fenced in a 50-acre training field where the horses would spend their first few days on the ranch adjusting to their new surroundings. On a miserably cold fall day, huge creaking semi-trailers filled with snorting, stomping steeds finally arrived at the ranch. After hours of coaxing, Dayton succeeded in getting Magnificent Mary to skitter off the trailer. She was a battle-scarred, mean-eyed mare with a nose about twice as long as it should be. The rest of the herd clattered behind her, eyes bulging with fear. Dayton's worst fear was that the horses would spook and charge through his carefully constructed 6-wire fence, scattering across the prairie like dry leaves in a whirlwind. Aware that wild horses often feel threatened by being watched, he sat in the cab of his old pickup truck, peeking at them out of a corner of his eye. Finally, after nearly a week of around-the-clock vigilance, he swung open the gate from the training field to his wild horse sanctuary. Many years have passed since Dayton held his breath and pushed that corral gate open. Every spring, dozens of his wild horses give birth to tottering colts that learn the ways of the backcountry from their mothers. They share the vast, quiet land with coyotes, mountain lions, and countless deer. Star lilies, bluebells, and prairie roses nod in the wind along with the prairie shortgrass that feeds the herd. Thousands of visitors arrive each summer to get a glimpse of wild horses in their natural habitat, a habitat that has been preserved through Dayton's careful planning. Throughout the grazing season, he moves the herd from one area of the ranch to another, so the horses don't damage the fragile rangeland. In the process, he searches for his marker mares: Painted Lady, Medicine Hattie, Funny Face, Euskea, Magnificent Mary, and several others. When he spots them all, he knows the whole herd is accounted for. Sometimes in the fall, while he's checking on the horses, Dayton notices a gaunt, aging mare whose ribs stand out through her ragged coat.